Good evening to all of you who are here. I am very glad to have this opportunity to present to you these talks. First of all, as usual, let's review our activities. We are having these talks on YouTube and Facebook, Portuguese, French, English, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesdays at different hours. Just check the website for the specific time. We have the study of the Spiritist doctrine in Portuguese and French, Wednesdays and Sundays. We have vibrations on Tuesday in French by Zoom, but you have to book. We have now magnetic passes in loco, in Portuguese and French on Saturdays, but it needs to be booked because the space we have is rather limited. But it's good that we can now do it in person, and it's wonderful. It's one start of coming back then to our activities. We have also fraternal help, not fraternal home, as written here, on Saturdays at 1500, but it needs to be booked as well. We have also the return of the library and the bookstore on Sunday. You have to reserve the books. You have to reserve the time to be there. And it's good that this activity is back because it would allow a lot of people to read and to find some consolation in what they read. For details, you can look at our website, www.necafa.be, and the reservations can be done in these ways: by email at info@necafa.be, WhatsApp, there's a number here, and we have also the messenger, Facebook Messenger. So we'll start now with our prayer or our meditation, if you like. So I would ask you, please, to close your eyes. Try to find a rhythm for your breathing. Let your breath come in and come out rhythmically. Don't change the way you breathe normally. Just check if it's shallow or deep. But feel the energy that enters into your body. And this energy is really bringing to you a lot of good feelings, a lot of good vibrations, a lot of wonderful energy. And then you can find yourself in a place, in a temple, if you like, a place where you can relax, where you can be in touch with these wonderful energies: love, hope, compassion, joy, all of the energies that help us move forward towards the light. Let us give welcome to those spirits that will follow these talks today with us. Let us think of them as our friends, because they are. Let us think of them as our brothers, because they are. And let us send them to them a lot of love, a lot of understanding, a lot of hope, a lot of light, principally light, so that they can start once again to walk towards perfection, to walk towards God. Let us also thank all of the friends that are here, spiritual friends that are going to help us today in guiding us, protecting us. and teaching us and inspiring us. Let us raise our thoughts to Jesus, asking him for his blessing, asking him to be at our side so that we can absorb some of the teachings that are being dispensed here, so also that we can feel his love in our heart. Let us finally think of our Creator, the Almighty, He who created us as spirits with eternal life, He who gave us the opportunity to reincarnate in order to correct our mistakes, in order to learn, and in order to progress. And therefore, we ask him to bless us and to give us his permission so that we can start our talks today. Amen. Today, we are going to have something a bit odd, a bit different than what we used to. We are going to talk about how wonderful the world is. And we're going to start by listening to this gentleman here, Louis Armstrong. This song came out in 1987 in a movie. It was called Good Morning Vietnam. And in this movie, where you have images of war, at the same time you have this song, which is a song about hope, about the beauty of the world, about how there are so many wonderful things in the world. And one can think, well, does this make sense to have a song that talks about hope, a song that talks about beauty, and at the same time show images of something as terrible as war? And this is basically what I like to talk to you about today, because it is important to understand that in this world, we have both. We have beauty and we have ugliness. And it's important then that we, as human beings, understand that what goes on in the world is also a result of what we do. This is a picture, obviously, of Vietnam. And you see here, man working in the midst of beauty. So it is possible to have men's actions that are preserving the beauty of the world that God created. Because if you say, well, because there is ugliness in the world, then the world is not perfect, it is a way of denying the existence of God. Because God created a perfect world, but he put us here, and we are allowed to exercise our free choice. And obviously all the imperfections that exist in this world comes from the actions of man. Again, this is another picture where you have work, where you have the effects of man's actions on nature, but at the same time you see beauty. And by the way, Vietnam is a very beautiful place. And it's amazing that during that war, people were there fighting each other, killing each other, and bleeding, and loving as well, because in war there's also love between the people who that are fighting. And at the same time, you are surrounded by this beauty. You are surrounded by this almost like paradise, wonderful, wonderful nature. So it is paradoxical. And this is also an example of man's activity, where we are worshiping, where we are exercising religion, our right to religion, amongst beauty. So beauty is not incompatible with the actions of man. It is not. And man should look for perfection in his actions, but unfortunately, he is not able to do it as of now. At the same time, obviously, there was war, there was pain, there was destruction. And this is something that we see every day in the world today. In this marvelous, wonderful world created by God, we see famine, we see people who are dying by violence. We see hunger. We see ethnic cleansing. We see racism. We see violence. We see war. We see revolutions. So all of these things exist in this world, surrounded by perfection, surrounded by beauty. And there, here, as you can see, you have nature as God created. Beauty, perfection. And by the way, this picture is one of the pictures I always put in my mind when I want to concentrate. It's a picture of the Amazon forest with these araras flying overhead. And it's a wonderful, wonderful area of the world that also is suffering a lot these days because of the actions of man. Again, the world is created perfectly by God. You have nature, you have beauty, you have perfection. Everything that God put in this world works very, very well, works perfectly. And then there is man. He gave us a mandate not to destroy. He gave us a mandate to create, to improve. And he let us use this world, this physical world, to teach us this perfection, to work towards the perfection of God. And we sometimes forget that why we are here, that we are here really to work towards the perfection. And the day, in other worlds, where spirits are close to God in perfection, then really there is no more conflict between the material world and the spiritual world. But again, here you have nature, you have beauty on the left side, and then you have destruction, mostly probably created by man. So man is really not following then the mandates that he received from God. Why? Because man is envious, because man is egotistical, because man does not want to share, because man does not want to pardon, because man wants everything for himself. And the result of these is the destruction, is the idea that we are here in this world and we are owners and that we can do whatever we like with what is here. And then again, picture of innocence, a picture of beauty. 4 or 5 little boys and girls sitting down with a wonderful smile. Now, these smiles are perfection. I mean, they are there because they show what Jesus said, that when he talks about children, the innocence, the beauty that they have, the idea that if we had that innocence in our hearts, then we would be able to become closer to God. And we'll be not making so many mistakes, that we're not making so much destruction around us. So children certainly remind us when they are young, when they are innocent, of how beautiful the world can be, that only a simple smile can go a long way towards helping people, towards creating a better world. When you see somebody that is sad, that needs to talk, for example, that needs your input, that needs your words, smile to them, talk to them. It's an act of charity most of the time, because a lot of people in this world are lonely. A lot of people need to be consoled. And one of the ways you can do it is just by a simple smile, but a genuine smile, not a fake smile, not a smile to manipulate someone. A real, genuine smile, a smile that comes from the heart, just like this little girl here on the right has. And then again, another picture of innocence and beauty. One looks at this picture here, one sees, how can people be racist towards this person, this child? How can they discriminate against this child just because she has a color, a different color in some societies? But look at her eyes, look at her beauty, look at her smile. It is really a reflection of God's work on earth. It is perfect. It is a wonderful smile, and it is a wonderful creation by God. But on the side of that, you have abuse, you have poverty, you had sadness in the same child, in another child. So that can happen also because of the actions of man. So when we have a difficult task before us, for example, this pandemic, maybe it was caused by man. It was certainly not caused by God. It shows then that our actions have reactions in nature. That nature sometimes, which we used to think that we could dominate, sometimes let us know who is in charge, who is really in charge. And again, you have in this world, which could produce enough food for all of us, we have hunger. Which could produce enough knowledge for all of us, and you have ignorance. Which could produce enough richness for all of us, and you have poverty. And it's very sad to see that in this world there are still people living with poverty. There are still people, there are still children going to bed hungry. There are still children, and principally young girls, who have no access to education in some countries, for example. So the work is there for us to nourish people, to give them knowledge, to take them out of poverty. And all of us can do it if we are charitable, if we believe in God, if we believe in the words of Jesus. And this is our world. Look at how beautiful it is. Can you say that this is not a perfect creation by God? It is. It is a blue sphere in the middle of the universe. It's not the center of the universe. It's just a minor planet in a minor galaxy. But it's there. It works perfectly. But again, the actions of man can disturb the equilibrium. The actions of man can create devastation. The actions of man can create problems. Then God creates a perfect, wonderful world. And I use the word in the present because he creates all the time perfect and wonderful worlds for us to learn. This is our school. This is where we have to learn. This is where we have to grow as spirits. This is where we have to learn the lessons. This is where we have to work towards perfection. And then we can move to other worlds. But for the time being, this is our world. And it is very clear that we don't take good care of this world. That by being vicious, that by being so full of ourselves, that we think we can dominate nature, that we can take from others what is theirs for only for us, then you create these imperfections. And obviously, we all know that there is the law of action and reaction. So negative actions will always bring negative reactions. And some of the negative reactions that we are seeing today are really payback for what we did in the past. Then the world we live is not perfect. It's a world of trials and atonements, as we all know in the Spiritist philosophy. This is where we're going to face the trials, like the ones we are facing right now. This is where we have to atone for our past mistakes, where we have to learn how to love, where we have to learn how to forgive, where we have to learn how to move forward towards perfection and towards God. And unfortunately, evil still predominates over good on this earth. It has improved over the last 400, 600 years, but it's still predominating. And this is a picture, obviously, of the famous picture of the half full or half empty glass. And it's a way to look at the world as well, because we make the world imperfect. And we can focus only on the empty side, or we can look on the full side. But it's important to remember that the world is both empty and full. We have both. We have beauty and we have ugliness. We have perfection and imperfection. And we have to learn how to live with it, minimizing imperfections and try to maximize perfection. We are, and when we say we, I mean human beings, are the agents of evil. So if there is evil in the world, it is not nature that caused the evil. It's not God that created evil. It is us. In our hearts, there's still too much evil. So if you want the world to improve, we have to replace evil with love, replace evil with good feelings. But we are also agents of good. And this is represented really by this half empty, half full glass. We are also the agents of good. If you want good to prevail, we have to be good. We have to be good individually. We have to give incentives so that good can grow. We have to plant good seeds, so that good trees would grow, good crops will come out. And this is what the Spiritist philosophy is proposing to us. Really, we are the agents of good. So let's be good instead of evil. Let us share this world. Let us try to help people. And if we do that, every one of us individually, the world will improve. This again is there is perfection in other planets, of course, as it is taught in our philosophy. But we are here somewhere in the middle, in an imperfect world. And if we want to move forward to more perfect worlds, we have to help the earth. We have to help the slowest human being on earth. We have to help those which are unable to help themselves. We have to help those that are still in darkness. We have to help those that are still struggling with negative feelings. So let us work towards perfection. Let us work towards bringing the earth to a higher orbit. A higher orbit. Let's try to do that, my friends. So there is hope for earth. If we all work together, if we all work towards helping each other, loving each other, then the consequence will be good for the whole of humanity. And this is what we have to work for. And obviously, this universe reflects the perfection of God. So we all have a tiny, tiny, tiny role to play in helping God build the universe at our level, at our infinitesimal small level. But we have a contribution to make. And let's try to make a good contribution. Let us help people. Let us help the earth. Let us help nature. Let us help those that suffer. Let us help those that are crying. Let us help the children. Let us help those that are far from reality, that are in the midst of folly. Let us help them. Let us be charitable. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? We can do a lot, my friends. Are we more loving? Every day, let's try to do a balance of what we have been doing over the last few years since we came to this incarnation. Are we more loving? Can we love better and more today than we did last week, last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, for those who are a little bit more experienced? Or are we still hating? Or are we still staying in the same level of spiritual development? So let's try to be more loving. Are we more compassionate? Every day we have to ask these questions. Are we more compassionate? Are we more compassionate to those that don't like us, those that hate us? Are we more compassionate to those that need our help, those that are suffering, those that are in the gutter, those that are enslaved? Are we more compassionate? If you answer no, then you have a lot of work to do. Are we more generous? This is very, very important. We have to be more generous. We have to share more. And sharing more doesn't mean that you're not going to have your private properties. No. But just remember, whatever you have doesn't belong to you. Whatever you have belongs to God. He has just lent it to you. So let's be more generous. Most of us have more than they need to survive, much more than they need. So we can be more generous for those who have nothing. Are we more charitable? A spiritist has to learn how to be more charitable. So let's be. Let's help people. Again, let's open our eyes, open our ears, and give them some consolation when people need it. Sometimes charity is not only material things. Sometimes charity is just listening to somebody. It's just giving a shoulder that someone can cry on, or lending an ear so that somebody can talk to you. So let's be more charitable. Are we good people? Are we good people? Can we call ourselves good if thousands and thousands of people, including children, die every day of hunger in the world, this moment? Are we good people? We need to improve. We need to improve to really become good in the sense that God meant, in the sense that Jesus meant. We need to improve a lot. We cannot be satisfied with the status quo. We cannot be satisfied with the situation as it is. We have to improve. We have to move forward to help more people. Are we our brother's keepers? This was what Cain was supposed to do for Abel. He was supposed to be his brother's keeper. Are we responsible for those who are here on earth at the same time as we are? We should be. It's our responsibility. We share the responsibility. Something that happens that is unacceptable in this world, we have some responsibility for it. So let us not be too patient. Let us not be far away from others. Let us not be forgetful. When we see injustice, we should denounce it. When we see wrong, we should do right. When we should speak, we should speak. Speak non-violently, but not without violence. Speak correctly, but speak. Don't let your silence be interpreted as an agreement to a negative action. If not, if you answer no to all these questions, then we are also responsible for the world's imperfections. So we need to improve everywhere in all of those questions so that we minimize the world's imperfections. So in order for the world to truly become wonderful, we need to change. God gave us a wonderful world, a perfect world, but we have made it imperfect. So we need to do it. We need to change ourselves, change internally. And don't think you're too small that you would have no impact. All of us can have an impact in what happens in this world. As you can see by some even children sometimes, going before the UN and telling the world's leaders that they should take care of the earth. So it's important that you believe that you can make a difference. And if you believe you can make a difference, then you will be making a difference. Then we need to truly follow Jesus's words and deeds. And this way, the world will be a much better place than it is today. So this is the presentation that I have for you. And I would like to now close by having a small prayer. And I ask you then to close your eyes. Try to find a comfortable position for your physical body. Breathing deeply. Let us go towards our spiritual essence. Let us find ourselves in a place that is close to that essence, in a place that allows us to be in touch with God, to be in touch with the divinity, to be in touch with Jesus. Let us feel the good energies that are all around us. Let us feel the beauty of the world. Let us feel the wonders that God has created on earth. Let us see a wonderful sunrise. Let us see a beautiful sunset with red colors. Let us listen to the words of the sea. Let us see and hear the words of the forest as they move along the wind. And then let us lift our hearts and touch those that are in need of a little bit of our energy, a little bit of our heart. Let us send to these brothers and sisters which are suffering today a little bit of ourselves, some love, a lot of compassion, a lot of hope, a lot of joy, so that they can face the trials that are before them with hope in their hearts, with the certainty that God is good, that God is eternal, that they will be able to persevere, that they will be able to continue towards the light, and that they'll be able to understand that the real life is spiritual life. Let us think also about our friend Jesus. Jesus, who has left us an inheritance of love, an inheritance of words and deeds that guide us every day of our existence. Let us then accept Jesus in our hearts. Let us try to behave as he told us to behave, with unconditional love, with charity. Let us then thank Jesus for all that he has given us. And finally, let us think about God, the Almighty who created us, the Almighty who gave us the opportunity to be who we are here on earth, but also where we were in the spiritual world, or in past lives. Let us thank God for all the opportunities that He gives us every day for us to learn, for us to atone ourselves, for us to progress. Let us also ask God to give us the strength to face whatever difficulties come our way, whatever fears come our way. And then finally, let us ask God to bless us and give us His permission to close this task today. Amen. Thank you again for being there. See you next time.